The poker room at the Dusty Spur Saloon buzzed with smoke, whiskey, and regret. Men cursed under their breath, cards slapped against the table, and the piano in the corner played a tune no one was listening to. Outside, the wind of Dry Creek Valley howled against the wooden shutters, a sound as lonely as the man sitting at the far end of the table. Luke Hollister, the rancher everyone knew, but few understood. Luke had built his ranch from dust and willpower, but fate had been cruel. The land had given him cattle and money, yet taken away the one thing he wanted most, a family. Years ago, after his wife had died in childbirth and the doctor had told him he could never father a child, Luke's heart had turned cold. He lived for work, not people. His ranch hands respected him, but no one dared to get close. He wasn't there to gamble tonight, not really. He'd come to trade for feed, and found himself drawn to the table when old Bill Turner waved him over with a grin that smelled like bourbon and bad luck. "Come on, Luke," Bill teased, tossing a deck of cards across the table. "One hand won't kill you." Luke gave a tired half-smile and sat down. "One hand, then I'm done." The game began slow. Coins clinked. Cards flipped. Men muttered. Then, just before the last hand, a stranger in a dusty coat entered the saloon, dragging something or someone behind him. The room went quiet. The stranger was tall, his beard unkempt, eyes sharp as broken glass. "Gentlemen," he rasped, "mind if I raise the stakes a little?" Luke frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" The man yanked the curtain of the saloon aside, revealing a young Mexican woman, bound by the wrists, dirt on her dress, but fire in her eyes. She looked about 20, frightened, exhausted, but proud. "She ain't no slave," the man said quickly. "She's under a debt. Her family owed me more than they could pay. I'm giving her a chance to win her freedom, or lose it, if that's how the cards fall." The players shifted uncomfortably. One man spat his tobacco and stood up. "You're a damn fool to bring that kind of trouble here." But the stranger laid down a pile of silver and looked straight at Luke. "You look like a man with nothing to lose. Care to play for her freedom?" Luke's jaw tightened. He didn't like what he was hearing. "I don't gamble with lives." The man shrugged. "Then walk away. Someone else will." The girl met Luke's gaze, dark eyes full of silent pleading. That single look made something twist in his chest. He saw fear, but also strength. The kind of strength his late wife once had when she fought to keep their home alive. Luke sighed, removed his hat, and sat back down. "Fine. One hand. If I win, she's free. That's all." The saloon held its breath as the cards hit the table. The stranger smirked. "Let's make it interesting. Winner takes the pot and decides her fate." Luke didn't answer. He focused on the cards, on the feel of the rough wood beneath his fingers, on the flicker of the oil lamp above. 2 pairs. Not bad, but not enough to win unless luck was on his side. The stranger grinned as he laid down his hand. 3 of a kind. Luke's heart sank. The girl closed her eyes, whispering a prayer under her breath. Then Luke noticed something. A card had slipped slightly from under his sleeve. Not his doing, but fate's little trick, maybe. He picked it up, turned it over, the Queen of Hearts. He laid it down gently, making a full house. Gasps filled the room. "Seems I win," Luke said quietly. The stranger cursed, slammed the table, and stormed out of the saloon. The girl stood frozen, unsure if she should run or bow. Luke pushed his winnings toward her, every coin, every chip. "Take it," he said. "You're free now." She looked at him, disbelief softening into tears. You don't want me to work for you." Luke hesitated. "You can go wherever you please. But if you've got nowhere to go, my ranch could use an extra hand." Her lips trembled. "My name is María." Luke nodded. "Then, María, let's get you home, or at least somewhere better than this place." As they walked out of the saloon, the cold night wind swept across the valley. Luke glanced at the stars above the silent plains and wondered why, for the first time in years, he felt like maybe, just maybe, he hadn't lost everything after all. The sun rose over the golden plains of Dry Creek Valley, spilling light across Hollow Creek Ranch. The land stretched for miles, a mix of cracked earth, stubborn grass, and dust-kissed fences. Luke Hollister had spent half his life taming it. Now, for the first time in years, someone else walked beside him as he rode toward the barn. María, the young woman whose freedom he had won in that fateful poker game. She rode awkwardly on a mule Luke had lent her posture proud despite her exhaustion. Every so often, she'd glance at him, as if trying to measure the kind of man he truly was. Luke pretended not to notice, but he could feel the questions in her silence. When they reached the ranch, a few ranch hands paused their chores to stare. It wasn't every day that Luke Hollister brought home company, much less a woman. "Morning, boss," called Tom, the foreman, wiping sweat from his brow. "Didn't expect you back this early. Who's this?" Luke dismounted, his boots crunching against the dirt. "This is María. She'll be staying here for a while. Make sure she gets a room in the bunkhouse." Tom's eyes flicked to María, then back to Luke, curiosity simmering. "You sure about that? Folks might talk." Luke's voice hardened. "Let him. She's here to work, not to entertain gossip." Tom nodded, knowing better than to press. María looked down, clutching the strap of her worn satchel. "Thank you, senor," she said softly. Days turned into weeks. María worked from dawn to dusk, feeding chickens, cleaning the stables, mending torn saddles. She asked for nothing and gave everything she had. The ranch hands respected her quickly. She was quiet but kind, and even old Tom admitted that the place ran smoother with her around. Luke kept his distance at first. He'd watch her from the porch in the evenings, her skirt dusted with hay, her dark hair tied back, her face illuminated by the lantern light. Something in her reminded him of peace, a feeling he'd forgotten how to recognize. But the nightmares still came. The memory of his wife, the cold hospital room, the doctor's words echoing. "You can't have children, Luke. I'm sorry." He'd wake in the middle of the night, sweating, staring at the empty chair by the fireplace, until one night, a soft knock came at the door. "Senor Luke." Maria's voice, quiet but steady. He opened the door. "You all right?" "I heard you shouting," she said. "I was worried." Luke rubbed his face, embarrassed. "Didn't mean to wake you." "It's nothing." María looked at him for a moment, then stepped inside. "Sometimes it helps to talk." He gave a dry laugh. "Don't think talking can fix what's broken." María sat across from him, folding her hands. "Maybe not, but silence makes the wound deeper." Luke stared into the fire. "Lost my wife long ago. Couldn't save her. Couldn't give her the family she wanted." Maria's eyes softened. "And you blame yourself?" He nodded once. "Every day." For a long time, neither spoke. The crackle of the fire filled the silence. Then María whispered, "Where I come from, my father used to say that God plants seeds in many soils. Sometimes the harvest we expect doesn't come, but another kind grows in its place." Luke looked at her, puzzled. She smiled faintly. "Maybe you were not meant to raise children by blood, but by heart." Those words sank deep, deeper than he expected. The next morning, Luke found María teaching one of the ranch hand's young sons to read, using an old Bible she'd found in the pantry. The boys' laughter echoed through the barn. Luke stood there quietly, feeling something stir inside, something that felt suspiciously like hope. Over the next few months, Hollow Creek Ranch changed. Laughter became a part of the air again. María planted a small garden behind the barn, painted the porch rails, and turned the lonely house into a home. Luke began to smile again, small, cautious smiles at first, then real ones. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, María joined Luke on the porch. They watched the light fade across the plains. "Do you ever think about leaving?" he asked. María tilted her head. "Where would I go? My home is far, and my past even farther." Luke nodded. "I reckon we both lost something. Maybe this place, maybe we, can start over." She looked at him, her eyes glistening. "Then let's start." And for the first time in years, Luke felt the weight on his chest ease. The man who thought his life was barren had found something unexpected. Not love, not yet, but the beginnings of something better. A purpose. A reason to wake up with the sunrise and look forward instead of back. As the wind swept softly through the valley, Luke Hollister realized that the hand he played in that smoky saloon hadn't just won a woman's freedom. It had saved his soul.